Aventor reached Europe early in the morning. The sun was still low, and the sky was soft and pale. He crossed the cold Arctic Sea and felt the first piece of European land under him, the long, deep fjords of Norway. These fjords were ancient valleys made by ice thousands of years ago. From above, they looked like dark blue rivers trapped between giant gray walls. Aventor liked this place immediately. The northern wind was clean and strong. When he opened his wings, the wind carried him without effort. He flew close to the cliffs and watched waterfalls fall straight into the sea. In some places, the water dropped for hundreds of meters. He felt tiny, but in a good way, like he was part of something older and bigger than himself. After resting on a sharp rock, Aventor continued his flight toward the west. He crossed the North Sea and entered Scotland. The Highlands welcomed him with green hills, long valleys, and heavy mist. Everything here felt mysterious. The air was colder and the ground below was covered with shadows from the clouds. Aventor flew over a famous lake. People on the ground called it Loch Ness, and there were many stories about a creature living inside. Aventor looked down carefully. He did not see any monsters, but he did see fish swimming near the surface. The lake was calm, and the mountains around it made the scene look like a painting. As he moved south, he noticed old stone castles standing on lonely hills. Some were broken, some were still complete, but all of them looked proud. Aventor circled above one castle tower. He imagined knights, kings, and old battles happening many years ago. Europe was full of history, and he could almost feel it in the wind. Soon, the land changed again. High mountains appeared in the distance. Snowy peaks shone brightly under the afternoon light. Aventor had reached the Alps. These mountains were some of the tallest in Europe, and they stretched across many countries. Flying here was different from all other places. The air was thinner but full of powerful currents. Aventor climbed higher and higher until he was almost level with the highest peaks. From that height, he could see everything: deep valleys full of villages, long rivers running between forests, and small lakes that looked like mirrors. He felt completely free. He rested on a snowy cliff for a while, then followed a river south. The air became warmer. Pine trees turned into small farms, and mountains turned into green plains. After a long flight, he saw a strange shape on the horizon, a city built on water. It was Venice. Aventor had never seen anything like it. Instead of roads, there were water canals. Instead of cars, people used boats. Small bridges connected different parts of the city, and all the red roofs looked the same from above. Aventor glided between church towers and over busy squares. Tourists below pointed at him, surprised to see such a big eagle flying slowly and confidently above them. After enjoying the warm Italian air, Aventor continued his journey toward the sea. He followed the coastline until the land broke into many small islands. He had arrived at the Aegean Sea near Greece. The islands looked like scattered stones in a blue bowl. Many had white houses, bright churches, and beaches that shone under the sun. Aventor landed on a cliff beside a small village. The smell of the sea mixed with the smell of olive trees. The whole place felt peaceful. He watched fishermen sailing out, cats sleeping on the roofs, and children running across the narrow paths. Everything here seemed simple and bright. Aventor still had one more place he wanted to see before returning east. He flew across the sea again, passed over forests and valleys, and finally reached the strange land of Cappadocia. This place looked unreal. Tall stone towers, called fairy chimneys, rose from the ground, shaped by wind and time. Early in the morning, colorful hot air balloons floated between the rocks like giant lanterns. Aventor enjoyed flying here the most. The air was warm, the shapes were magical, and the sky felt wider than anywhere else. He flew low, then high, then low again, exploring every corner of the valley. He felt like he was inside a dream. When evening came, Aventor rested on a high rock. The sunset painted the sky orange and pink. He looked back on his journey. The cold fjords, the misty highlands, the snowy Alps, the floating city of Venice, the bright Greek islands, and the magical land of Cappadocia. Europe had given him beauty, history, and adventure. And Eamon knew one thing clearly: this would not be his last journey. There were many more skies waiting for him.